Hello students, my name is Asmamo and I'm your management information system instructor. In this course we will try to see basic 6 chapters, and in this online course we will try to see the first 4 chapters and the remaining 2 chapters will be covered by assignment. So today let us start from the first chapter, and the first chapter is all about introduction to management information system. So this chapter we'll try to see overview of management information system, or we can say that information system. There are alternative names for this course. The first one we can say that management information system. Second, we can say that information system, and sometimes we can say that also management information system or information system for decision making, or IT for decision making. So the main purpose or goal of such information system course at this level or at the MBA level is to improve the decision making ability of managers, or to improve the decision making capability of managers. So the first concept of this chapter is what is management information system. So first we have to define what is management information system. So when we say management information system, here we have 3 words. First we have management, second we have information, and third we have system. So a combination of these 3 words becomes management information system. So let us see one by one. First, what is management? So when you say management, it is the art of getting things done through and with the efforts of other people. Simply we can say that. First, it is art. Sometimes we can say that management is art. Sometimes we can say that science. But simply we can say that it is the art of getting things done or achieving organizational goals through and with the efforts of other people. So in this case, we need peoples that help us to achieve organizational objectives or goals. However, a manager gets things done or achieve such goals or objectives by performing basic managerial functions, and these functions are, we have 5 functions. The first function is planning, second we have organizing, then we have staffing, directing, and controlling. So all managers should perform such managerial functions in order to achieve organizational objectives. We can say that. So we have planning first, then we have organizing, then we have staffing, then we have directing and controlling. So we have 5 basic managerial functions. So management can be extremely a creative endeavor, or a creative process, and managers are not bureaucrats. They do more than just keep the trains running on time. So managers can also give organizations a sense of purpose and also direction. So help us to show a sense of purpose or direction. So as Walmart's founder, Walton, was fond of saying, they can motivate ordinary people to do extraordinary things. So managers can motivate just ordinary people to achieve extraordinary things. They can, for example, transform organizations. They can transform organizations from A to B, we can say that. They can create new ways of producing and distributing goods and service. So such managers can create new ways, or there is a creative process in such cases, and change how the world works through their actions. So these all are parts of managers. We can say that. Think about what some of the greatest managers of this era have done. If you see, for example, examples of managers, for example, Sam Walton built Walmart from scratch into the largest retailer in the world. Walmart, as you know, it is a supermarket or a retailer, and it's number 1 in the world, and it has around 1.6 million employees. So የዚህ አይነት ኦርጋናይዜሽን ክሬት ማድረግ ከቻል we can say that we are managers. ሉ ግሬሰር repositioned IBM. so IBM ክሬት ያደረገ and Jack General Electric and Steve Jobs Apple computer gave the world the first mass marketed easy to use personal computers, and also today Apple is still improving or driving innovation with iPod, iPhone, iPad, and also Apple. So is any company create ማድረግ ከቻል we can say that we are managers. White man provides the leadership that helped eBay become the world's first and most successful online auction house, revolutionizing the auction industry. So አሁንም eBay የሚባል የኦንላይን ማርኬት ሲስተም አለን። እዛ ውስጥ ገብተን የራሳችንን አካውንት ክሬት አድርገን ቢድ ማድረግ እንችላለን። የፈለግነውን እቃ እዛ አስገብተን ቢድ ማድረግ እንችላለን። ሶ የዚህ አይነት ካምፓኒ ክሬት ማድረግ ይቻላል። ዘን ዊ ካን ሴ ዛት ዊ አር ማኔጀርስ ኦር ዙከርበርግ ቢልት ፌስቡክ ፍሮም ስክራች ኤንድ ኦልሶ ብሬን ኤንድ ላሪ ፔጅ ቢልት ዘ ላርጀስት ኤንድ ሞስት ፕሮፊታብል ኦንላይን ኢንተርፕራይዝ ኢን ዘ ወርልድ ኖን ጉግል ዩቲዩብ ጀስት ላይክ ዛት። ሶ የዚህን አይነት ካምፓኒዎችን ክሬት ማድረግ ከቻልን የዚህ አይነት ቢዝነሶችን ክሬት ማድረግ ከቻልን ከስክራች ተነስተን ዘን ዊ ካን ሴ ዛት ዊ አር ማኔጀርስ። ሶ ቱ ፐርፎርም ዚስ ፋንክሽንስ የማኔጀር ሃዝ ቱ ቴክ ቫራይቲ ኦፍ ዲሲሽንስ። ሶ ኢን ኦርደር ቱ ፐርፎርም ዚስ ፋንክሽንስ 5 ፋንክሽንስ ፕላኒንግ፣ ኦርጋናይዚንግ፣ ስታፊንግ፣ ሊዲንግ ኤንድ controlling, manager has to take a variety of decisions. So decision making is a fundamental prerequisite for each of the following process. When you plan, you have to make decision. When you organize, you have to make decision. When you staff, we have to make decision. When you lead, we have to make decision. When you control, we have to make decision. So it's a prerequisite for all managerial functions. So Drucker, and he's the father of management or management guru, has gone to the extent of saying whatever a manager does, he does it through decision making. Whatever a manager does, whether a manager is doing planning, organizing, staffing, leading or controlling, he does it through decision making. So decision making is the essence of management, we can say that. So an organization or individual that identifies more than one way to solve a problem or a dilemma must make a decision. So if you have more than one alternative, so in such case we have to make a decision. So ከዚህ ቦታ ተነስተን እዚህ ቦታ ለመድረስ ለምሳሌ ሁለት ሩት ሊኖረን ይችላል። we have the first route, we have the second route. We have the first road, we have the second road. So this one is the first, this one is the second. So ከሁለቱ ሮድ the first road የሚያደርሰናል፣ the second road የሚያደርሰናል። ነገር ግን ከሁለቱ ሮድ አንዱን ሴሌክት ማድረግ ይጠበቅ። So in such case we have to make a decision. So when you say decision making, it's a process of selecting the best alternative from the available options. So the problem 2 plus 2 doesn't require decision making because it has only one solution. 2 plus 2 አራት እንደሆነ ሁላችንም እናውቃለን። So in such case it doesn't require a decision making. However, as a manager might face dilemmas such as which is the best way to promote the company's new car. There are different types of promotion techniques. So in such case we have to make a decision. For example, television advertising, radio advertising, newspaper advertising, web advertising, and also auto shows, direct mail, just like that. So if you have such one, so in such case we have to make a decision. In such case we have to conduct a decision making, or we have to select the best one from the available options. And here also Anthony, management thinker, describes 3 levels of business activities carried out in operating an organization. So here we have 3 levels. We have lower level, we have middle level, we have top level. So the lower level is operational, the middle level is management, and the top level is, we can say that, strategic level. So operating አይነት አክቲቪቲ የሚካሄድበት we call it lower level management. Management አይነት አክቲቪቲ የሚካሄድ we call it middle management, and at the top level we have strategic planning or top management. In general, we can say that when you say management, it is the process of allocating an organization's inputs, including either human or economic resources, by planning, by organizing, by directing, and by controlling for the purpose of producing goods or services desired by customers, so that organizational objectives are accomplished. So it's a process of simply allocating organizational inputs, and there are different types of inputs: by planning, organizing, directing, and controlling; by managerial functions, simply we can, for the purpose of producing goods and services desired by customers. Such products and services should be desired by customers, so that organizational objectives are achieved or accomplished. So such one we can say that management. Then you have the second order of management information system is information, and it is the second component of MIS. And information is considered as a fifth important resource of, along with the traditional four source of many materials, men and machines. We have four traditional resources, many materials, men and machines. Plus to that, nowadays we have the fifth resource, that is information. Information is a resource because it's scarce. So because of this, we can say that information is a resource. It has a cost. In order to get information, we have to incur cost. And it has alternative use. For alternative one ካልተጠቀምንበት we can use for alternative two. So we have alternative one, alternative two, alternative three. There is an opportunity cost factor involved if one doesn't process information process ካላደረግን incur የምናደርገው cost አለ, or opportunity cost አለ ካልተጠቀምንበት ለሆነ purpose. So such one we call it, because of this we can say that information is a resource. So when you say information, it is a data which is processed. First we have data, then we have information. So processed data, such processed data becomes information, we can say that. Processed and present to decision makers and helps them in making decisions. So we can't use data for decision making purpose, but we can use information for decision making purpose. That's the main difference between data and information. Information in MIS means the processed data that helps management in planning, in controlling, and in operations. Data means all facts arising out of the operation of the concern, and data is processed, that is recorded, summarized, compared, and finally present to the management in the form of MIS reports. So በሪፖርት መልኩ በቴብል በግራፍ በሚመጣበት ጊዜ we call it management information system report. We can say that. So the main difference between data and information is that data unprocessed facts and information processed data. We can say that data decision making purpose መጠቀም አንችልም, information we can use for decision making purpose. So here we can see examples. Supermarket checkout counters scan millions of pieces of data from barcodes which describe each product. Such pieces of data can be totaled and analyzed to provide meaningful information such as total number of bottles of dish detergent, በቀኑ ምን ያህል bottles of dish detergent እንደተሸጠ, which brands of dish detergent were selling the most rapidly, የትኛው በብዛት እንደተሸጠ, or the total amount spent on that brand of dish detergent. So explain የምናደርግ ከሆነ we call it information. Then the third word is a system. Management we have, information we have system. The word system is a set of elements that are interrelated and interdependent to achieve a common goal. So when you say system, first it's a set of elements. We have different elements that are interrelated and interdependent. They should have a relationship and their relationship is interdependent. አንዱ ያለ አንዱ መኖር የማይችል ከሆነ we call it interdependent. To achieve a common goal. So here we have, or we should have a common goal. So data is processed into information with the help of a system. So data we have first, then we have information. So in order to convert such data into information, we need a system. Such system we call it information system. We call it information system. Then a system is made up of inputs, processing, output, feedback, and also control. So when you say system, it is made up of 5 basic components. First we have input, then we have processing system, then we have output, then feedback, then we have controlling system. Then a system is an integrated set of components or entities that interact to achieve a particular function or goal. So when you say system, it is an integrated set of components or entities that interact to achieve a particular function or goal. System have such features. First we should have boundaries and system ከሌላው አይደንቲፋይ የምናደርግበት. Then we have outputs and inputs. If you have input, we should have also outputs. Then we have methods of converting inputs into output. So we have information, we have processing system, we have output. We have input, we have processing system, then we have output. Then systems have 3 components or functions. Normally we have 3 basic components of system. The first one is that input. So first we have input, and input involves capturing and assembling elements that enter the system to be processed. Then we have processing system, involves transmission process that convert input into output. Then we have output, can explain in terms of product and or service. So first we have input, then we have processing system, then we have output. Input, we need data, then we have to convert such one into output, and in order to convert into output we need processing system. All systems have input, processing and output. So a cybernetic system or a self-monitoring, self-regulating system adds feedback and control. And when you say cybernetic system, you have feedback and control, we call it a cybernetic system. Normally, we have three components of a system: input, processing system, and output. But if you have feedback and control, then we call it cybernetic system. Feedback is data about the performance of a system. It is data about the performance of a system. ሲስተሙ እንዴት ፐርፎርም እንዳደረገ ቼክ የምናደርግበት we call it feedback. Control involves monitoring and evaluating feedback to determine whether a system is moving towards the achievement of its goals. ጎሉን አቺቭ ለማድረግ እየሄደ ነው ወይስ አይደለም ሲስተሙ የሚለውን ቼክ የምናደርግበት we call it a controlling system. ኤግዛምፕል ሳይበርኔቲክ ሲስተም ኤተርሞስታት ኮንትሮል ሂቲንግ ሲስተም በየቤታችን ያለው ሂቲንግ ሲስተማችን ኮንትሮል የምናደርግበት የሂቲንግ ኮንትሮሊንግ ሲስተሙ ቤታችን በሚሞቅበት ጊዜ ቀዝቃዛ ነገር ይለቅና ቤታችን በሚቀዘቅዝበት ጊዜ ደግሞ ሙቀት ነገር ይቀሰው ኢንቫይሮንመንቱን ሬጉሌት ያደርግ በዚህ መልኩ ቼክ የምናደርግ ከሆነ we call it a thermostat controlled heating system. Human body is also a cybernetic system that automatically monitors and also adjusts many of its functions such as temperature, heartbeat and also breathing. A business also has many control activities, and because of this a business is also a cybernetic system. Because we have a feedback and controlling system. ለምሳሌ computers make monitor and control manufacturing process, accounting procedures help to control financial system, data entry displays provide to control of data entry activity, sales quota and sales bonus attend to control sales performance. So because of this a business is also a cybernetic system. General systems are composed of interrelated and interdependent systems. So general we can say that system is a set of interrelated and interdependent components. Example, you can see your class also we can take as a system, a classroom system. We have input, we have a processing system, we have output. Input, students without knowledge and skills. Instructors, students, textbook facilities, we can say that processing system. Output, students with knowledge and skills. So here we have input, here we have processing system, here we have output. So a business we have already discussed. A business is also a system. A business is also a system. So we have input, we have processing system, then we have output. So this one is input, this one is processing system, this one is output. Input, people, money, material, machinery, land, facilities, solar parts of input. Business process, production system we need, marketing system we need, finance system we need, personal system we need. So such system helps to convert such inputs into output, and output product, service, payments, contributions, information, other it depends on the type of the organization. We can see that we have also control system management and also feedback information system we have, and also business በራሱ ስለማይሰራ we have in the environment, the business environment, stockholders we need, customers we need, competitors, the community, government agencies, suppliers that supplies the inputs, and also financial institutions that provide credits and loans, labor loans. These all are parts of the business environment. So then what's management information system? We have already discussed what's management, what's information, and what's system. Then what's management information system? Management information system is first it is a system, a type of a system which consists of people, machines, procedures, database and data models as its component is known as management information system. So when you say mice, we have people, we have machines, we have procedures, we have database, we have data models as its components is known as management information system. So this system collects data from external and also internal sources of an organization. So through such system we can collect data from internal sources and also external sources. Then after we collect the necessary data we have to analyze it through different models. Then we have to supply management information to managers and help them in making decisions. So first we have such components, Then we have to collect data from external and internal source. Then we have to analyze such data through different econometric models or regression models. Then we have to supply such management information to managers. For what purpose? For making decisions. So such one we call it management information system. Or MIS is the system which makes available the right information to the right person. Which makes available the right information to the right person. To the right person ካልደረሰ information is not necessary. At the right place, we have to get it into the right place. At the right time, not too early, not too late. In the right form, either in hard copy or soft copy. At the right cost. Benefit should be greater than cost. The cost of getting the information should be less than the benefit of the information. So such one is also management information. Or according to Davis, MIS is a man or machine that provides information to support management in making decisions or in decision making process. We can say that MIS. Our management information system or MIS a planned system of collecting, storing, disseminating data in the form of information needed to carry out the function of management. We can say that also. Or it is the study of information systems focusing on their use in business and management. Or we can say that MIS defined as a system which provides information support for decision making is work. Simply, it is a system that provides information for managers to make a decision. So we have three words. First, it is a system. Second, provide information for managers. Then, for making decision. So such one we call it management information system simply. So we can say that also MIS defined as a computer-based information system. Before 50, 60, 70 years, we can say that MIS is a computer-based information system. But nowadays, we can say that management information system is a computer-based information system. MIS involves three primary resources: technology we have, information we have, people we have. These are the primary resources of management information system. Then outputs of management information system. We have four types of reports of management information system. The first one is that scheduled reports. When it says scheduled reports, any report produced periodically or on a schedule, we call it scheduled reports. በየቀኑ በየሳምንቱ በየወሩ የምናዘጋጀው ሪፖርት ከሆነ ቀኑን ጠብቀን we call it scheduled reports. Second, we have key indicator reports. Summarize the previous day's critical activities. ትላንት ያካሄድነውን አክቲቪቲ ጠዋት ላይ ሰመራይዝ አድርገን ለማኔጀሩ የምናቀርብ ከሆነ then such type of report we call it key indicator report. And such one available at the beginning of each day. Always at the beginning of each day ይህ ሪፖርት ይዘጋጃል፣ ለማኔጀሩ ይቀርባል። Demand report gives certain information at a manager's request. Such type of report is prepared by the concerned body by the request of a managers. Manager request ካቀረበ እናቀርባለን፣ request ካላቀረበ ደግሞ አናቀርብም። So such one we call it demand report. Exception report automatically produced when a situation is unusual or requires management action. Unusual ነገር happen ሲያደርግ ማኔጅመንቱ ወይም አክሽን መፍጠር ካለበት such type of report we have call it exception report. So we have four types of MIS. How to manage, for example, this one is management information system. We have actual data, we have forecast data, we have earning, then variance. ለምሳሌ here 6.8 variance ማን በልጧል? አክቹዋሉ በልጧል። why 10.8 በ10.7 0.9% አክቹዋሉ ይበልጣል። why 14.3 14.1 ፎሪካስቱ ይበልጣል። why የሚለውን ይሄን ነገር ሪዝን አውት ማድረግ ስላለበት ማኔጀሩ ሪፖርት ማቅረብ ይጠበቅብናል። then we have objectives of management information system. Objectives, the first objective is that capturing data. The capturing data means we have to collect data. Capturing contextual data or operational information that will contribute in decision making from various internal and also external sources of analysis. We have to collect, first we have to collect data either from internal sources or external sources of internal source from employees, external source from suppliers, from customers, from government, etc. So such one is the first objective of management information. Second, we have to process it or processing data. The captured data is processed into information needed for planning, organizing, coordinating, directing, and control function at strategic level. That's at the top level, at the tactical level, at the mid level, and at the operational level. Processing means making calculations with the data. We have to make calculations with the data, plus, minus, just like that. We have to sort out the data. We have to classify it. We have to summarize the data, either in a form of table or in graph. Then information storage. Information or processed data need to be stored for future use. we have to store data for futures. We have to store data either in floppy disk, in hard disk, in CD, flash, just like that, for future purpose. Information retrieval, the system should be able to retrieve this from the storage as in when required by various users. So we have to retrieve also data as and when required by various users, either internal users or external users. Then information propagation or dissemination, or information distribution. Information or the finished product of them should be circulated to its users periodically using the organizational networks. Then lastly, we have to distribute such information for different organizational level, as the lower level, as the middle level, or as the top level. So these are some of the objectives of management information system. Then features of MIS, the basic features. The first basic feature is that all management information system provides reports with fixed and standard form. That means hard copy and soft copy reports. ሁሉም ማኔጅመንት ኢንፎርሜሽን ሲስተም either hard copy or soft copy ሪፖርት ማዘጋጀት ይጠበቅባቸዋል። uses internal data stored in the computer system። ሁሉም ማኔጅመንት ኢንፎርሜሽን ሲስተም ኢንተርናል ዳታን ይጠቀማሉ። end users can develop custom reports። end users ማለት መጨረሻ ላይ የሚጠቀሙ ሰዎች የራሳቸውን ሪፖርት ማዘጋጀት ይችላሉ። requires formal request from users in order to use such information or management information system report. There should be a request from users, either from external users or from internal. So these are some of the features of management information system. Then let us see components of MIS. What are the basic components of MIS or information system? First, people. We need people. People play roles in developing software and hardware and implementing them into their work routines. So we have two types of people, users and developers. Developers means software on የሚሰሩት hardware on የሚሰሩት, we call it developers. And also we have users, a large proportion of the people proportion we call it users. So when you say people, we have users and we have developers. Then we have hardware. We need also hardware, the physical part of any device, we call it hardware. Then we have software, a set of instructions that tells the computer what to do, how to do, just like that. And database or data warehouse, the repository of organizational data from within and outside the organization. Information የሚቀመጥበት ቦታ or data የሚቀመጥበት ቦታ we call it database. Then we have network, different communication systems, internet for example, or Bluetooth for example, computer network. These all are parts of network. Process include business process, procedures and policies of the organization. These all are parts of the components of management information. So when you say management information system, we have 6 basic components. Then let us see the difference between information system and information technology. Information system are combinations of hardware, software and telecommunications networks that people build and use to collect, create and distribute useful data, typically in organizational settings. So when you say information system, we have basically 6 components. ቅድም ያልነው people, processing system, hardware, software, networks. So here we have 6 basic components. Information systems are made up of different components that work together to provide value to an organization, to produce goods and services, or just like that. Information systems are made up of 6 components, that's hardware, software, data, communication technologies, people and process. So we need 6 components when you say information system. But when you say information technology, we have 4 basic components. The last 4 components, we call it information technology. And this is mostly related with a computer science. So if you have only data, hardware, software and networks only, that we have 4 components, we call it information technology. So it is more of technical. But if you had processing system and people, we call it information system. So information system is wider than information technology. So let us see the evolution and features of the information age. The evolution of the information age እንዴት አሁን ላይ ልንደርስ ቻልን? There are different 3 ages or basic ages of such evolution, and the first age we call it agricultural age, and such agricultural age is up to 800, when the majority of workers were farmers and who lives revolved around agriculture. አብዛኛው ሰው ፋርመር ነበር፣ የሚተዳደረው በአግሪካልቸር ነበር። So such age we call it agricultural age. The second age is industrial age. This one is from 1800 up to 1957, when work process were simplified through mechanization and automation. ይህ ደግሞ ከ1800 እስከ 1957 የነበረው ኤጅ አብዛኛው የፋብሪካ ስራ የነበረበት ወደ ሜካናይዜሽን ወደ አውቶሜሽን የተቀየረበት ኤጅ we call it industrial age. And the third age is information age, the period that began in 1957 ከ1957 እስካሁን ድረስ ያለው we call it the information age, in which the majority of workers are involved in the creation, distribution and application of information. አብዛኛው ሰው በኢንፎርሜሽን ክሬት በማድረግ ዲስትሪቢዩት በማድረግ አፕላይ በማድረግ የሚተዳደር we call it the information age. So such type of workers we call it knowledge workers. Workers involved in the creation, distribution and application of information we call it knowledge workers. So በኢንፎርሜሽን የሚተዳደር ሰው we call it knowledge workers. So in the first age አብዛኛው workers farmer ነበር. In the second age አብዛኛው workers factory workers ነበር. In the third age አብዛኛው workers knowledge workers ነው. So we have 3 age: agricultural, industrial age, information age. Time period: majority of workers pre-1800 farmers, 1897 factory workers, 1957 to present knowledge workers. Partnership: agricultural people land, ያው agriculture ከሆነ ሰውና መሬት ነው ኮኔክሽን ሊኖር የሚችል። ኢንዱስትሪያል ኤጅ ደግሞ ሰው ኢንዱስትሪ ሰራተኛ ከሆነ ፒፕል ኤንድ ከማሽን ጋር ነው የሚሰራው። ኢንፎርሜሽን ከሆነ ደግሞ ሰው ከሰው ጋር ነው ኮኔክት የሚያደርግ። ሶ ያ ፒፕል ኤንድ ፒፕል። ፕሪንሲፓል ቱል ኬዝ ኦፍ አግሪካልቸር በሃንድ ቱል ነው በእጅ ነው የሚሰራው። ኢንዱስትሪያል ኤጅ በማሽን ነው የሚሰራው። ኢንፎርሜሽን ኤጅ ስመጣ በኢንፎርሜሽን ቴክኖሎጂ ነው የሚሰራው። ሶ ሌት አስ ዘ ቤዚክ ፊቸርስ ኦፍ ዘ ኢንፎርሜሽን ኤጅ። አን ኢንፎርሜሽን ቤዝድ ሶሳይቲ ሃዝ አራይዝን። በኢንፎርሜሽን የሚተዳደር ሶሳይቲ ተፈጥሯል። ኢንፎርሜሽን ሶሳይቲ is society in which more people work at handling information than at agriculture and manufacturing combined. ከማኒፋክቸሪንግ እና ከአግሪካልቸር ኮምባይን ሆኖ ኢንፎርሜሽን የሚበልጥ ከሆነ በኢንፎርሜሽን የሚተዳደር ሰው የሚበልጥ ከሆነ we call it information society. So if you have such type of society we call it information society. ወደ አሜሪካ ወደ ኢሮፕ ወደ ጃፓን ብንል አብዛኛው የሚተዳደረው በኢንፎርሜሽን ነው። So such type of society we call it information society. Business depend on the information technology to get their work done. In order to achieve their organizational objectives, almost all business depend on the information technology. That is the basic feature of the information age. Work processes are being transformed to increase productivity. In order to increase productivity, we have to work on work process. Work process, we have input, we have process, then we have output. So in order to increase the productivity or the output, we have to work on the work process. Here we have work process. So we have to improve such work process in order to increase the productivity of the organization. So when you say work processes, the combination of acts that workers perform, the way they perform those activities and the tools they use. So such one we call it work process. So we have to improve such one in order to increase such productivity. So that is the basic feature of also the information age. Productivity is the ratio of output and input. The other feature of the information age is that information technology provides the means to rethink, recreate, or engineer usual business process. So through such information technology, we can rethink, recreate, re-engineer the usual business process. Or such one. The usual business process means such one. We have to improve such one. So success in business largely determined by the effectiveness in which we information technology used. So the success of any business organization nowadays depends on the effectiveness in which information technology is used. So re-engineering first to attain greater productivity. In case of ኢንዱስትሪያላይዝ በምናይበት ጊዜ ፕሮዳክቲቪቲን ለማምጣት ዲቪዥን ኦፍ ሌበር ነበር ፕሮሞት የሚደረገው። ዲቪዥን ኦፍ ሌበር ማለት አንድ ሰው ሁሌም አንድ ስራ የሚሰራ ከሆነ ከተወሰነ ጊዜ በኋላ ያን ነገር ስፔሻላይዝ ያደርገዋል። ዘን ስሩ ሰቿን ኤፊሺየንሲ ይጨምራል። ዘን ፕሮዳክቲቪቲ መጨመር ይቻላል ነው። when it comes to information age, ቲምወርክ ኢንተርኮኔክሽን ኤንድ ሼርድ ኢንፎርሜሽን ቲምወርክ በመፍጠር ኢንተርኮኔክሽን በመፍጠር እርስ በርስ ሼርድ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሼር በማድረግ ፕሮዳክቲቪቲ መጨመር ይቻላል። that is the basic feature of the information age. So here we have 3 age. First we have agricultural age, then we have industrial age, then we have information age. So we have ages. Then we have data, information, knowledge and wisdom. So let us see now the difference between data, information, knowledge and wisdom. So here we have 4 words. First data, then information, then knowledge and then wisdom. So the relationship between such four concepts, we call it the IKW pyramid, also known as the IKW hierarchy, wisdom hierarchy, knowledge hierarchy, information hierarchy, and knowledge pyramid. So it shows the relationships between data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. Information is defined in terms of data here, and knowledge in terms of information, wisdom in terms of knowledge. So first we have data. So based on data, we can define information. Based on information, we can define knowledge. Based on knowledge, we can define wisdom. So we have such pyramid. First we have data, then we have information, then knowledge, then we have wisdom. So such pyramid, we call it the IKW pyramid. So when you say data, the word data is the plural of datum. The data commonly represents both singular and plural forms. Data are raw facts or observations, typically about physical phenomena or business transactions. People often use the term data and information interchangeably, but data and information, they are different concepts, because we can use information for decision making, but we can't use data for decision making. However, it's better to view data as raw material resource that are processed into finished information products. So first we have data, then we have information. So information defined based on data. Example: names, quantities, dollar amounts recorded on sales forms represent data about sales run. However, sales manager may not regard this as information. ለምሳሌ ኔም አበበ ከበደ ቸኮሌት አይስክሬም ብንል ዛትስ ዳታ። ኳንቲቲ 2 3 4 5 ዛትስ ዳታ። ዶላር አማውንት $10 $20 that's also data. But if you process such one, we can get information. For example, the amount of sales by product type. The amount of sales of product 1 is such amount, 20, 30, 40. Such one is information. The amount of sales of product X in Bahar Dar is such, and this one is also information. The amount of sales of product Y by salesperson A is such amount. This one is also information, because we already processed data. So data unorganized and unprocessed facts. If you processed facts and data, then we can get information. Start with a set of disconnected facts about events. So it's a set of disconnected facts. Chocolate, ice cream, chocolate is one disconnected fact, ice cream is one disconnected fact. So such one is, we can say that data. So data comprises facts, observations, or perceptions. Data represents raw numbers or assertions. Data are facts, figures that on their own have no meaning. በራሱ ሚኒንግ የሌለው በት ፕሮሰስ ሲደረግ ሚኒንግ ማግኘት የምንችል ከሆነ we call it data. they can be alphanumeric characters, text ሊሆን ይችላል ዳታ, could be numbers, could be symbols. So data examples, we have yes, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. So simply and understand ማድረግ አንችልም. So such one is data, but if we process such one, we can get information. 42, 63, 96, 74, 56, and 86. Such one is also data. So none of the above data sets have any meaning until they are given a context and processed into a usable form. But if you give such data a context and if you process such one, then we can convert such data into information. So that's the main difference between data and information. Then data and information. In order to convert data into information, we need a system, and such system we call it information system. So first we have data, then we have information. Then in order to convert such data into information, here we need information system. To achieve its aims, the organization will need to process data into information system. Data need to be converted into meaningful information and presented in its most usable format. So data must be processed in a context. We have to give context in order to give it meaning. Context ካልሰጠ ነው ሚኒንግ ሊሰጠን አይችልም. We have to give context. Then the second one is information. So when you say information, means the words, numbers, graphics that are displayed or printed as the base for making decisions. በወርድ የምንገልጸው በነምበር በግራፍ አድርገን በዲስፕሌይ ማድረግ የምንችል ከሆነ በግራፍ ሊሆን ይችላል፣ በባር ቻርት፣ በቴብል ሊሆን ይችላል። or printed as the base for decision making, we call it information. So data ለዲሲሽን ሜኪንግ ፐርፐዝ መጠቀም አንችልም, በት ኢንፎርሜሽን ለዲሲሽን ሜኪንግ ፐርፐዝ መጠቀም እንችላለን. Information is the result derived by processing data. After we process data, we can get information. Information is processed data simply. They are processed data. Information is a subset of data includes those data that possess context, relevance, and purpose. So information involves manipulation of data. So in order to get information, we have to manipulate data. So aggregation of data that makes decision making easier. So simply process data, we can say that's information. So information created by analyzing relationships and connection between the data. If you analyze the relationships and connection between the data, then we can create information. It's capable of answering simple who, what, where, how many, when, why is style questions. Photo is information. Actually, so we call it data. But if you capture a photo, then such photo we call it information because በፎቶ አማካኝነት ማን ነው የሚለውን ማወቅ እንችላለን። ሁ ዋት የሚለውን አንሰር ማድረግ እንችላለን። ዌር የሚለውን የት ቦታ እንደተነሳ፣ ሃው መኒ የሚለውን ስንት ፎቶ፣ ዌን የሚለውን ታይሙን፣ ዋይ የሚለውን ሪዘን አውት ማድረግ እንችላለን። ሶ ቢኮዝ ኦፍ ዚስ ፎቶ ኢዝ ኢንፎርሜሽን። ዘ ሌታስ ዘ ቤዚክ ፊቸርስ ኦፍ ኢንፎርሜሽን። አንድ ኢንፎርሜሽን ነው የምንለው ወይም ጥሩ ኢንፎርሜሽን ነው የምንለው ምን ሲሆን ነው? ፈርስት ታይም ላይንስ ዛት ሚንስ ኢንፎርሜሽን መስት ሪች ዘ ዩዘር ኢን ኤ ታይምሊ ማነር። ጊዜውን ጠብቆ በታይምሊ ማነር የሚደርስ ከሆነ such one is timelines information just when it's needed በምንፈልገው ጊዜ not too early and not too late. Not too early because by the time it's used it would be out of date. Not too late because the user will not be able to incorporate into his decision making purpose. early ካገኘ ነው ቆይቶ out of date ሊሆን ይችላል። ሌትሊ ካገኘ ነው ለዲሲሽን ሜኪንግ ፐርፐዝ ላንጠቀምበት ይችላል። ሶ ኦን ታይም ካገኘ ነው we call it information is timelines. Second, appropriateness. Information must be relevant to the person who is using it. ለሚጠቀመው ሰው relevant መሆን አለበት። relevant ካልሆነ that's not information. It must be within the sphere of his or her activity so that it can be used to reduce uncertainty. So information should reduce uncertainty. If information reduces uncertainty of the decision maker or the manager, we call it the information is appropriate. Third, accuracy. Should be correct as much as possible. We don't always need 100% accurate information so long as we know the degree of accuracy it represents. For example, plus or minus statistics plus or minus 5% ይባላል። ያ ማለት 5% ኤረር ሊሰራ ይችላል በኢንፎርሜሽን but as much as possible 95% ግን ኮሬክት የሆነ ኢንፎርሜሽን መሆን አለበት። Conciseness or level of detail. Information should always contain the minimum amount of detail that is appropriate for the user. በጣም ዲቴል መሆን የለበትም። ሚኒመም አማውንት ኦፍ ዲቴል በጣም ዲቴል ከተፈጠረ ኢንፎርሜሽን ኦቨርሎድ ይፈጠራል። ለምሳሌ ሰሞኑ ስለ ኮሮና የምንሰማው በተለያዩ ሚዲያዎች የተለያየ ኢንፎርሜሽን እንሰማለን። የተለያየ ኢንፎርሜሽን በተለያዩ ሚዲያዎች በምንሰማበት ጊዜ ኢንፎርሜሽን ኦቨርሎድ ይፈጠራል። ኢንፎርሜሽን ኦቨርሎድ ሲፈጠር ደግሞ የትኛው ኮሬክት ነው የሚለውን አይዴንቲፋይ ማድረግ ሊከብደን ይችላል። ሶ ሌቭል ኦፍ ዲቴሉ as much as possible አፕሮፕሪየት መሆን አለበት። ሶ ቱ ማች ዲቴል ከሆነ ኢንፎርሜሽን ኦቨርሎድ ይፈጠራል። So level of detail. The other one is frequency. Frequency related to timelines. It's related with timelines. So often the information presented is linked to the calendar. Should be linked to the calendar. Information by calendar link መሆን አለበት። End of the week, beginning of the month. Its frequency should be synchronized with the timing of the decision making of the user. Decision maker የሚፈልገው for example at the end of the month ሊሆን ይችላል፣ at the end of the year ሊሆን ይችላል፣ at the end of the day ሊሆን ይችላል። So ከዛ ጋር ሲንክሮናይዝ መሆን አለበት። Understandability, the format and presentation of information is also very important. Some people prefer tabular whereas others may prefer graphical. አንዳንዱ ቴብል ሊፈልግ ይችላል፣ አንዳንዱ ግራፍ። እንደ ፍላጎታችን አንደርስታንድ በምናደርግበት መልኩ መቅረብ ይኖርበታል። Also the use of colors enhance the understanding of what is presented. ከለር ብንጠቀም አንደርስታንዳቢሊቲውን ሊጨምር ይችላል። Relevant, it pertains to the particular problem. Whether it's important for a particular problem or not. What data is relevant depends on the decision-making model used. የምንጠቀምበት የዲሲሽን ሞዴል ወይ ኢኮኖሜትሪክ ሞዴል፣ ሪግሬሽናል ሞዴል ኦር የተለያዩ ሞዴሎች አሉ። በዛ ሞዴል አማካይነት ኢንፎርሜሽኑ ጠቃሚ ነው ወይም አይደለም የሚለውን አይዴንቲፋይ ማድረግ እንችላለን። ኮምፕሊት ኢንፎርሜሽን ሹድ ቢ ኮምፕሊት። ቅድም ሌቭል ኦፍ ዲቴይሉ ዝቅተኛ መሆን አለ። ያ በምንልበት ጊዜ ኢምፖርታንት ፖይንቶችን ሚስ ማድረግ የለበትም። All the relevant parts should be included. Marketing data about household income may lead to bad decision if not combined by consumption habits of the target population. በማርኬቲንግ ዳታ በሃውስሆልድ ኢንካም ላይ የሚሰራ ሰው ሪሰርቹን ማርኬት ዳታ about household income ላይ የሚሰራ ሰው ስለ ኮንሰምፕሽን ሀቢታቸው ኢንኮርፖሬት ካላደረገ ሊሆን አይችልም። ሶ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሹድ ቢ ኮምፕሊት አስ ማች አስ ፖሲብል። ከረንት ዲሲሽን አር ኦፍን ቤዝድ ኦን ዘ ሌተስት ኢንፎርሜሽን አቬሌብል። ሶ as much as possible we have to use the latest information. Economical, the cost of gathering information should be justified by the overall benefit. So benefit should be greater than cost, and we call it economical. So when you say information, we have 10 basic components of the quality of basic or good information. You can say that good information. Then we already discussed data, information. Then we have knowledge, and the knowledge is the understanding of rules needed to interpret information. So a collection of information after some time becomes knowledge. We can say that. So knowledge is the understanding of rules needed to interpret information. የተለያየ ኢንፎርሜሽን ይኖረናል። ያን ኢንፎርሜሽን አንደርስታንድ አድርገን ኢንተርፕሬት በምናደርግበት ጊዜ then we can get knowledge. The capability of understanding the relationship between pieces of information. We have the first piece of information, the second piece, the third piece, and what to actually do with the information. Then እነዛን ኢንፎርሜሽን ሪሌሽንሺፕ አንደርስታንድ ካደረግን በኋላ በዛ ኢንፎርሜሽን ምን መስራት እንችላለን ብለን ኢንተርፕሬት ማድረግ ከቻልን we call it knowledge. Knowledge represents a pattern that connects and generally provides a high level of predictability as to what's described or what will happen next. What will happen next or what's described የሚለውን explain ማድረግ ከቻልን we call it knowledge. Example, if the humidity is very high, this one is one piece of information, and the temperature drops, the second information. Essentially the atmosphere often unlikely to be able to hold the third information. So it rains. So እነዚህ ሶስት ነገሮች happen ካረጉ ምን እንደሚመጣ እናውቃለን? rains. So እነዚህ ሶስት ነገሮችን አንደርስታንድ አድርገን what will happen next የሚለውን አይደንቲፋይ ማድረግ ከቻልን we call it knowledge. Knowledge is facts, information and skills acquired through experience or education. So we can get knowledge through experience or through education. The theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. Education and experience create knowledge in humans, and in some cases this knowledge can be transferred to special knowledge መቀየር እንችላለን። So when you say data, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, strawberry, vanilla, vanilla, strawberry, vanilla, vanilla, this one is data. በዚህ አማካኝ ውሳኔ መስጠት አንችልም። Information, this is a list of flavor of ice cream sales yesterday. አሁን በዚህ አማካኝነት የተወሰነ ውሳኔ ማካሄድ እንችላለን። The data now has some context and some makes sense. A bit of analysis is useful to glean more information. The most popular flavor of ice cream sold yesterday is vanilla. So this one is also information. Then ከሁለቱ ኢንፎርሜሽን ተነስተን ኖሌጅ መፍጠር እንችላለን። The shop manager can see that vanilla is the most popular ice cream flavor because 5 ጊዜ ስለተሸጠ። Next time he placed an order, ከሰፕላየሮች ኦርደር ሲያደርግ he will ask for 5 times as much as vanilla ice cream than chocolate ice cream. Because vanilla ice cream ከቾኮሌት ice cream 5 እጥፍ ስለተሸጠ next time ከሰፕላየሮች በሚገዛበት ጊዜ 5 እጥፍ ያዛል። So such one we call it knowledge. የኢንፎርሜሽኖችን ሪሌሽንሺፕ አይተን what will happen next ነገ ምን ልንሰራ እንችላለን የሚለውን ኢንተርፕሬት ማድረግ ከቻልን or መናገር ከቻልን we call it knowledge. Then we have wisdom. Wisdom is more difficult to define but represents the ability to learn from experience and adapt to changing conditions. Simply wisdom ይሄ ነው ማለት it's very difficult but it represents the ability to learn from experience. ከልምድ ተነስተን እንደሚመጣብን ችግር ቀድመን ዲፌንድ ማድረግ ከቻልን ሪስፖንድ ማድረግ ከቻልን we call it wisdom. Wisdom enables a manager to spot trends. አመጣጡን አይተን if you identify the trends and identify potential problemዎችን አይደንቲፋይ ማድረግ ከቻልን and develop new techniques to analyze the data then we call it wisdom. ለምሳሌ ሰሞኑን ኮሮና ቻይና ላይ ሆኖን አይተናል፣ ጣሊያን ላይ ሆኖን አይተናል፣ ስፔን ላይ ሆኖን አይተናል፣ ፈረንሳይ ላይ ሆኖን አይተናል፣ አሜሪካ ላይ ያለውን እያየን ነው። ሶ የነሱን ትሬንድ አይተን የነሱን ኤክስፒሪየንስ አይተን የነሱን ፕሮብሌም አይተን እዚህ ጋር የሆነ ሲስተም ዘርግተን ያ ነገር ሀፕን ሳያረግ ቀድመን ሪስፖንድ ማድረግ ከቻልን then we call it such one is wisdom. So knowledge information gained through experience reasoning. Knowledge can exist without wisdom but not the other way around. knowledgeን ያለ wisdom ማግኘት እና wisdomን ግን ያለ knowledge ማግኘት አንችልም። First we should have a knowledge. We should have a knowledge about China's experience, Italy's experience, or French experience, American experience, Spanish experience. We should have also understanding of the virus, we call it corona. So such one we call it wisdom. So knowledge is knowing how to use it again. Wisdom is knowing when to use it and when to keep it holstered. So when it's knowledge how to use it again, ግን እንዴት መጠቀም እንዳለብን በክላስ ውስጥ ማግኘት እንችላለን። but wisdom is knowing when to use it፣ መቼ መጠቀም እንዳለብን፣ መቼ ደግሞ መልሰን ወደ ሆልስተርድ ማስገባት እንዳለብን ግን ከክላስ ውስጥ ሳይሆን በኤክስፒሪየንስ ነው ማግኘት የምንችለው። so such one we call it wisdom. So knowledge is gathered from learning and education, while most say that wisdom is gathered from day-to-day experience and state of being wise. State of being wise, we call it wisdom simply. ኖሌጅን ከለርኒንግ ከኤዱኬሽን ማግኘት እንችላለን። ዊዝደምን ከቀን ተቀን ኤክስፒሪየንስ ማግኘት እንችላለን። ሶ ኖሌጅ ሚንስ ኖዊንግ ኦር አንደርስታንዲንግ something special about particular subject. So understanding about particular subject, we call it knowledge. Having awareness of facts or truths, we call it knowledge. Something that can be known or information, we call it knowledge. Wisdom is the state of being wise. We call it wisdom, and is able to use knowledge and experience intelligently, we can say that wisdom. So capable of determining what is wise and what is unwise, which one is wise, which one is unwise, what is wise, what is unwise, answer market, and we call it wisdom. So we have a learning, a DIKW pyramid or curve, we can say that DIKW curve. First we have data, then information, then knowledge, then wisdom. ሶ የዳታን ሪሌሽን በማየት ኢንፎርሜሽን ክሬት ማድረግ እንችላለን። ኢንፎርሜሽን ፓተርን በማየት ኖሌጅ ክሬት ማድረግ እንችላለን። የኖሌጅን ፕሪንሲፕል በማየት ዊ ካን ክሬት ዊዝደም። ሶ ዌን ዩ ጎ ፍሮም ዳታ ኢንቱ ዊዝደም ኮኔክትድነስ ይጨምራል ኤንድ ኦልሶ አንደርስታንዲንግ ይጨምራል። ሶ ሂር ዊ ሃቭ ኤግዛምፕል ዩ ካን ሲ ኢት ኤንድ አንደርስታንድ ዋት ኢዝ ኖሌጅ ኤንድ ዋት ኢዝ ዊዝደም። ዘን ዊ ሃቭ ኖሌጅ ማኔጅመንት። So in an economy where the only certainty is uncertainty, the one sure source of lasting competitive advantage, we call it knowledge. So we are living in uncertain environment, and in such environment the last competitive advantage is knowledge. Resource ሊያልቅ ይችላል፣ ሌበር ሊያልቅ ይችላል፣ ማቴሪያል ሊያልቅ ይችላል, but the only lasting opportunity is competitive advantage. Or for competitive advantage is that knowledge አያልቅም። So because of this we can say that the last sort of competitive advantage is knowledge. So although knowledge is increasingly being viewed as a commodity or an intellectual asset, it possesses some paradoxal features that are radically different from those of other valuable commodities. What makes unique knowledge from other resource, from labor or other resource, is that use of knowledge doesn't consume it. If you use labor, if you use materials, then ኮንሱም እያደረግ ነው ሊያልቅ ይችላል ማቴሪያሉ። በት ኖሌጅን በምንጠቀምበት ጊዜ ኮንሱም አናደርግም፣ እንደውም ኖሌጅ እየጨመረ ይሄዳል። that's the main difference between knowledge and other resources. transferable of knowledge doesn't result in losing it. so ኖሌጅን ከአንድ ሰው ወደ ሌላ ቦታ ትራንስፈር በምናደርግበት ጊዜ ኖሌጅን ሎስ አናደርግም። በት ማቴሪያል ቢኖረን ያ ማቴሪያል ለአንድ ሰው እንሰጠው ሉዝ እናደርገዋለን። that's the main difference between knowledge and other resources. Knowledge is abundant, but the ability to use it is scarce, and much of an organized valuable knowledge walks out the door at the end of the day. ብዙ ጊዜ አንድ ማኔጀር ቢኖር አንድ ማኔጀር ከቢሮ በሚወጣበት ጊዜ ኖሌጁ አብሮ ነው የሚወጣው። ሲገባ ይገባል፣ ሲወጣ ይወጣል። ሌሎቹ ማቴሪያሎች ግን እዛው እንዳሉት ነው። that's the main difference between knowledge and other resources. So knowledge management is a concept and a term that arose approximately 2 decades ago. So this one is a recent concept, 1919. Very early on the Kemen movement, Davenport defined knowledge management, and it is the process of first capturing, distributing, and effectively using knowledge. First, we have to capture or collect knowledge from different parts, either from internal sources or external sources of an organization. After we collect the necessary knowledge, we have to distribute it to different parts of an organization, either top level, middle level, or lower level of management. And then we have to effectively use such knowledge. We have to use such knowledge for different problems. So such one we call it knowledge management. And also we have other basic definitions of knowledge management. For example, knowledge management is a discipline. It is a separate discipline that promotes an integrated approach to identify, capture, evaluate, retrieve, and also sharing all of an enterprise information assets. So we can say that. So these assets include database, documents, policies, and previously uncaptured expertise and also experience in individual workers. So we can say that knowledge management, or we can say that also it is the process of creating, sharing, using, and managing the knowledge and information of an organization. So first we can create knowledge, or we can collect knowledge. We can create knowledge by checking the patterns of the information. And then we have to share it, and we have to use it, and we have to manage such knowledge. It refers to a multidisciplinary approach. It is a multidisciplinary approach to achieving organizational objectives by making the best use of knowledge. So knowledge management refers to a set of business processes developed in an organization to create, to store, to transfer, and to apply knowledge. So knowledge management increases the ability of the organization to learn from its environment. So through knowledge management, we can increase the ability of the organization to learn from its environment and also to incorporate knowledge into its business process. So knowledge management has its own objectives. For example, improved performance. Through knowledge management, we can improve the performance, the ratio of output and input. We can increase the competitive advantage of the organization. We can get competitive advantage. We can increase the innovativeness or creativity of the organization also. And we can use it for the sharing of lessons learned. We can use for integration purpose to integrate different parts of an organization. And also we can continuously improve the organization processing system through knowledge management. Types of knowledge. Within an organization, we have two types of knowledge: tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. When you say tacit knowledge, knowledge residing in the minds of employees that hasn't been documented is called, we call it tacit knowledge. ማንኛውም ኖሌጅ ሊሆን ይችላል በሰራተኞች ማይንድ ጋር ያለ ነገር ግን ዶክመንት ያልተደረገ ኖሌጅ ከሆነ we call it tacit knowledge. So tacit knowledge is knowing how እንዴት መስራት እንዳለብን ፕሮሰሲንግ ሲስተሙን በማይንዳችን ካለ then such one we call it tacit knowledge. Second type of knowledge is that explicit knowledge, and such type of knowledge has been documented. የነበረን ኖሌጅ ወደ መጽሐፍ ከቀየር ነው፣ ወደ ኢንተርኔት ላይ ካስቀመጥ ነው፣ በሲዲ ካስቀመጥ ነው፣ በፍላሽ ዲስክ ከቀየር ነው። So such type of knowledge we call it explicit knowledge. It is a knowledge codified and digitized in books, documents, reports, memos. በእነዚህ መልኩ ካስቀመጥ ነው we call it explicit knowledge. Documented information that can facilitate action. Knowledge what is easily identified, articulated, shared and employed. Such type of knowledge በቀላሉ አይደንቲፋይ ማድረግ እንችላለን፣ አርቲኩሌት ማድረግ እንችላለን፣ ሼር ማድረግ እንችላለን and also employ ማድረግ እንችላለን። knowledge can reside in email፣ በኢሜል ማስቀመጥ ይቻላል፣ ቮይስ ሜል፣ በግራፊክስ and structured documents as well as በstructured document ማስቀመጥ እንችላለን። So knowledge is generally built to have a location. Any knowledge has a location, either the minds of employees if it is tacit knowledge, and in a specific business process if it is explicit knowledge. So we have also the knowledge creation process. And here we have 4 modes of knowledge conversion process or knowledge creation process. The first one is that socialization. Second, we have externalization. Then we have combination. Then we have internalization. When you say socialization, from tacit knowledge to tacit knowledge, mind ላይ የነበረን እውቀት ወደ ሌላ ሰዎች ማይንድ ላይ ከቀየር ነው we call it socialization. አንድ መምህር ይገባል ክላስ ውስጥ ማይንዱ ጋር የነበረውን ኖሌጅ ለተማሪዎቹ እነሱ ማይንዳቸው ጋር ይዘው ከሄዱ such type of knowledge we call it socialization. That's from tacit to tacit, mind to mind. From tacit knowledge to explicit knowledge we call it externalization. ማይንድ ላይ የነበረን ወደ መጽሐፍ ከቀየር ነው፣ ማይንድ ላይ የነበረን ወደ something ከቀየር ነው፣ ወደ ኢሜል ካስቀመጥ ነው or something we call it externalization. From explicit knowledge to explicit knowledge, መጽሐፍ ላይ የነበረን እውቀት መልሰን መጽሐፍ ላይ ካረግ ነው we call it combination. አንድ መጽሐፍ አለ፣ ሌላ መጽሐፍ ካለ ሁለቱን ኮምባይን ካረግ ነው we call it combination. From explicit knowledge to tacit knowledge we call it internalization. explicit knowledge to tacit knowledge መጽሐፍ ላይ የነበረን ወደ ማይንድ ከቀየር ነው we call it internalization. So we have 4 stages: acquire, store, dissemination, and apply. And we call it knowledge management system. So we have 4 stages of knowledge management system. Acquire, knowledge discovery. That's collecting data either from internal source, collecting knowledge either from internal source or external sources. We call it knowledge discovery or acquiring. Store, knowledge database. Then knowledge create ካደረግን or acquire ካደረግን በኋላ we have to store it. Then we have to disseminate it to different parts of an organization through Google ሊሆን ይችላል, through different internet portals ሊሆን ይችላል, either through social network በፌስቡክ አማካኝነት ይችላል distribute ማድረግ እንችላለን. Then we have to apply it for specific purpose. ለሆነ ነገር knowledge ካልተጠቀምን that's not important. We have to use it for specific business problem. So such one we call it application. So we have 4 stages: knowledge acquire, that acquisition. We can acquire knowledge either from internal source or from external sources. We have to store it for future uses, and also we have to disseminate it either through portals, email, instant messaging, social networks, and social tools. And lastly, we have to apply for specific business problems. Then the importance. What is the importance of knowledge management? There are 3 roles of knowledge management system. First, we can use it for facilitating decision-making capabilities. We can increase the decision-making capabilities of managers through knowledge management system. knowledge management system በምንጠቀምበት ጊዜ የዲሲሽን ሜከሮችን ኤቢሊቲ መጨመር እንችላለን. We can build learning organization by making learning routine. learning organization ምንለው ከኤንቫይሮንመንቱ በየቀኑ የሚማሩ organizations we call it learning organization. So through knowledge management system we can create such type of learning organizations by making learning routine, learning culture በማድረግ we can create such type of organization. Third, stimulate cultural change, innovation. Through knowledge management we can stimulate a cultural change. የነበረውን ካልቸር መቀየር እንችላለን። የስራ ካልቸር ሊሆን ይችላል፣ ኖርሙል ሊሆን ይችላል፣ አጠቃላይ ነገሩን መቀየር እንችላለን. And also we can innovate new things, we can create new things through knowledge management system. So there are 3 reasons for knowledge management. First, we can increase the decision capabilities of managers. Second, we can build learning by making learning routine. Third, we can stimulate cultural change and innovation. Then types of information system. Here when you see the types of information system can be divided into 2: operation support system and management support system. የኦርጋናይዜሽን የዴይሊ አክቲቪቲ ሰፖርት የሚያደርጉ we call it operation support system. ማኔጅመንቱን ሰፖርት የሚያደርጉ we call it management support system. operation support system we have TPS, transaction process control system, and enterprise collaboration system. management support system we have MIS, we have this support system, we have executive support system, and we have also specialized information systems: expert system, knowledge management system, strategy system, and functional business system. So let us see types of information system. The first one is operation support system, and such operation support system efficiently process business transactions support የሚያደርግ ከሆነ control industrial process, we can control the industrial process system, we can support office communications and collaborations, and we can update corporate database. So we can use for such purposes. Types, for example, first we have TPS or transaction processing system. Record and process data from business transaction በሚኖርበት ጊዜ ሪካርድ የምናደርግበት ሲስተም we call it transaction process system. For example, cash register machine, sales processing, inventory systems, and account. These all are parts of transaction processing systems. Then we have process control system, monitor and control physical process. ይሄ ደግሞ ፔትሮሊየም አካባቢ ከሆነ ያንን ኮንትሮል የምናደርግ ፔትሮሊየም ካምፓኒ ላይ ከሆነ ሪፋይን የሚደረግበት ከሆነ ያን ኮንትሮል ኦር ሞኒተር የሚያደርግልን ሲስተም we call it process control system. ኢንተርፕራይዝ ኮላቦሬሽን ሲስተም ይሄ ለኮሚኒኬሽን የምንጠቀምበት ከሆነ we call it enterprise collaboration system. In case team and work group communication, example, email, video conference, such type of information system we call it enterprise collaboration system. And 2 ways to process transactions. In transaction processing system process ለማድረግ we have 2 types. TPS process ለማድረግ we have 2 types: batch and online processing system. Batch accumulate transaction over time and process periodically. Over time የነበረውን ትራንዛክሽን ኦቨርታይም አጠራቅመን አንድ የምንሰራው ከሆነ ፔሪዲካል የምንሰራው ከሆነ ዊ ኮል ኢት ባች ፕሮሰሲንግ። ለምሳሌ ባንክ ጋር ብንሄድ ብዙ ጊዜ ቼክ ክሊር የሚደረገው ማታ ላይ ነው። ስለዚህ ሁሌም ማታ ፕሮሰስ የምናደርግ ከሆነ ትራንዛክሽኑን ጠብቀን ሰቿን ዊ ኮል ኢት ባች በባች ነው ፕሮሰስ የምናደርገው። በየቀኑ ከሆነ በየሳምንቱ ዱሬሽኑን ኦር ታይሙን ጠብቀን ከሆነ ዊ ኮል ኢት ባች ፕሮሰሲንግ። ኦንላይን ፕሮሰስ ትራንዛክሽንስ ኢሚዲየትሊ ፕሮሰስ የምናደርገው ከሆነ ዊ ኮል ኢት ኦንላይን። ፎር ኤግዛምፕል የባንክ ፕሮሰስ አን ኤቲኤም ዊዝድሮ ኢሚዲየትሊ እንዳወጣን ኢሚዲየትሊ ፕሮሰስ ያደርጋል፣ ኢሚዲየትሊ ሪሲት ይሰጠናል። ኦር ካሽ ሬጂስተር ዛትስ ኦንላይን ፕሮሰሲንግ ሲስተም። ሶ ዊ ሃቭ ቱ ታይፕስ ኦፍ ፕሮሰሲንግ ሲስተም። ማኔጅመንት ሰፖርት ሲስተም such one is provide information support for effective decision making by managers. The main purpose of management support system is to provide information for making a better decision, to increase the decision making capability of managers. Types of management support system. Management information system provide reports and displays to managers. The first one is MIS, and such one provide reports and displays to managers. Daily sales analysis report, for example, is management information system, and then already discussed in the first part of this chapter. Second, decision support system, or DSS, and we'll see this one in the fourth chapter, provide interactive and ad hoc support for decision making. Interactive and ad hoc support ለዲሲሽን ሜከሮች የሚያቀርብ ከሆነ ዊ ኮል ኢት ዲሲሽን ሰፖርት። ለምሳሌ ዋቲፍ አናሊሲስ የሚሰራ ከሆነ ዋቲፍ አናሊሲስ ቱ ዲተርማይን ዌር ቱ ስፔንድ አድቨርታይዚንግ ዶላርስ። አድቨርታይዚንግ ዶላር በጀት ቢኖረን ይህን እዚህ ቦታ ብናደርገው ይህን ያህል ሴልስ ሊኖረን ይችላል፣ እዚህ ጋር ብናደርገው ይህን ያህል፣ እዚህ ጋር ብናደርገው ይህን ያህል ብሎ ዋቲፍ አናሊሲስ የሚሰራልን ከሆነ ዊ ኮል ኢት ዲሲሽን ሰፖርት ሲስተም። ኤክስኪዩቲቭ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሲስተም ፕሮቫይድ ክሪቲካል ኢንፎርሜሽን ፎር ኤክስኪዩቲቭስ ኤንድ ለቶፕ ሌቭል ማኔጀርስ ዲዛይን የተደረገ ሲስተም ዊ ኮል ኢት ኤክስኪዩቲቭ ሰፖርት ሲስተም። ኢዚ አክሰስ ቱ አክሽንስ ቱ ኮምፒውተርስ። ኦፕሬሽናል ኦር ማኔጅመንት ሲስተምስ and here also we have expert systems, and such expert system uses knowledge about specific area to provide expert advice to users. Example, credit application advice. ይህ ደግሞ ኤክስፐርት የሆነ ሲስተም። ኖሌጅ ማኔጅመንት ሲስተም ኦልሬዲ ዲስከስ። ሰፖርት ክሬሽን ኦርጋናይዜሽን ኤንድ ዲዘሚኔሽን ኦፍ ቢዝነስ ኖሌጅ ቱ ስሩአውት ዘ ካምፓኒ። ኤግዛምፕል ኢንትራኔት አክሰስ ቱ ቤስት ቢዝነስ ፕራክቲስ። ኢንትራኔት ፖርታል ቢኖርና አንድ ኦርጋናይዜሽን ጋር ኢንትራኔት በዛ ኢንትራኔት ፖርታል አማካኝነት የተለያዩ መጽሐፍቶችን ኢንፎርሜሽን ሪሶርሶችን ማስቀመጥ እንችላለን። በዛ አማካኝነት ኖሌጅ ሼር ማድረግ ኤንድ ሰች ዋን ዊ ኮል ኢት ኖሌጅ ማኔጅመንት ሲስተም። ሶ ሃው ቱ ሜጀር ዘ ሰክሰስ ኦፍ አን ኢንፎርሜሽን ሲስተም። አንድ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሲስተም ኢምፕሊመንት ተደረገ፣ እሱን ኢንፎርሜሽን ሲስተም ሰክሰስፉል ነው ወይስ አይደለም የሚለው እንዴት ማወቅ እንችላለን? ፈርስት ዊ ካን ሲ ኢትስ ኤፊሽንሲ። ሚኒማይዝ ኮስት ታይም ኤንድ ዩዝ ኦፍ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሪሶርስ። ኮስትም ሚኒማይዝ ካረገ፣ ታይምን ሚኒማይዝ ካረገ፣ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሪሶርስ ሚኒማይዝ የምንጠቀመውን ሚኒማይዝ ካረገ ዊ ኮል ኢት ዘ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሲስተም ኢዝ ኤፊሽንት። ሰከንድ ኢትስ ኢፌክቲቭነስ። ሰፖርት ቢዝነስ ስትራቴጂስ። የኦርጋናይዜሽን ቢዝነስ ስትራቴጂ ሰፖርት ማድረግ ከቻለ፣ ኢኔብል ቢዝነስ ፕሮሰሱን በተሻለ መልኩ ማስኬድ ከቻለ፣ ኢንሃንስ ኦርጋናይዜሽናል ስትራክቸር ኤንድ ካልቸር። የኦርጋናይዜሽን ስትራክቸር ኤንድ ካልቸሩን ኢምፕሩቭ ማድረግ ከቻለ፣ ኢንክሪዝ ዘ ከስተመር ኤንድ ቢዝነስ ቫልዩ። የኦርጋናይዜሽኑን ወይም ደግሞ የከስተመሩን ቢዝነስ ቫልዩ መጨመር ከቻለ ዊ ኮል ኢት ኢፌክቲቭነስ። ሶ ኤፊሽንሲ ሪሌትድ ዊዝ ኮስት፣ ኢፌክቲቭነስ ሪሌትድ ዊዝ ጎልስ። ሶ እነዚህ ነገራችን ማድረግ ከቻለ ዊ ኮል ኢት ኢዝ ሰክሰስፉል። ዘን ዘ ላስት part is that developing information system solutions, and this one is a major responsibility of today's managers. They are responsible for proposing or developing new or improved information system for their organizations. አዲስ ሲስተም ዲቨሎፕ ማድረግ ወይም ደግሞ የነበረውን ማሻሻል that is the main responsibility of today's managers, both top level managers and information system managers. So this section helps to show how information system solutions that meet the business needs of end users and their organizations can be developed. So when we say information system development, we call it system development life cycle simply. When the system's approach to the problem solving is applied to the development of information system solution to business problems, we call it information system development or application development. አንድ ፕሮብሌም ይኖራል። ያን ፕሮብሌም ሶልቭ ለማድረግ ኢንፎርሜሽን ሲስተም ዲቨሎፕ ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል። ሶ እንዴት አድርገን ዲቨሎፕ ፕሮብሌሙን አይደንቲፋይ ካረግነው እስከ ዲቨሎፕ ኦር ኢምፕሊመንት እስካረግንበት ያለው ስቴጅስ we call it system development life cycle. When the system's approach is applied to the development of information system solutions, a multiple process or cycle emerges. So in such case we have stages, and we call it system development life cycle or system development cycle simply. So we have 5 stages: investigate, analysis, design, implement and maintain. And we call it developing information system solutions. So let us see one by one. The first one is a system investigation. The first stage in system development process and preliminary study of proposed IS solution to business problems. And here we have to conduct a preliminary study of proposed IS solutions. ቀረቡትን IS solutions አይደንቲፋይ አድርገን preliminary study ማካሄድ ይጠበቅብናል። Active determine whether a business problem or opportunity exists. So first we have to determine whether there is a business problem or opportunity. Sometimes opportunity ሊሆን ይችላል, sometimes problem ሊሆን ይችላል. So we have to determine it. Then we have to conduct a feasibility study to determine whether any or improved information system is feasible or not. የነበረው improve ማድረግ ይሻላል ወይስ አዲስ develop ማድረግ ይሻላል? Develop a project management plan and obtain management approval. So here we have to get a management approval for such IS solutions. And the output of such, the first stage is that feasibility study. So the first stage we should have a feasibility study. Feasibility study about to determine whether a business problem or opportunity exists, to determine whether any or improved system is feasible solution. Then we have to develop a management or a project plan and we have to get approval. Second, system analysis is in detail study of end user information needs. ዲቴል ስተዲ ኦፍ ኢንዱዘር ኒድስ ኢንዱዘር መጨረሻ ተጠቃሚዎች የሚፈልጉት ከስተመሮች ሊሆን ይችላል ምንድን ነው የሚፈልጉ የሚለውን ኢንዲቴል ማጥናት ይጠበቅብናል። ኦር ዲፓርትመንትስ ሊሆን ይችላሉ የተለያዩ ዲፓርትመንቶች ከዚህ ሲስተም ምንድን ነው የሚፈልጉት የሚለውን አይደንቲፋይ ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል። አክቲቪቲስ አናላይዝ ኢንፎርሜሽን ኒድስ ኦፍ ኢንዱዘርስ ኦርጋናይዜሽናል ኢንቫይሮንመንት ኤንድ ሲስተም ፕሬዘንትሊ ዩዝድ ዲቨሎፕ ዘ ፋንክሽናል ሪኳርመንትስ ሲስተም ዛት ካን ሚት ዘ ኒድስ ኦፍ ኢንዱዘርስ ፕሮዳክት ኦር አውትፑት ኦፍ ዘ ሰከንድ ስቴጅ ፋንክሽናል ሪኳርመንትስ ማርኬቲንግ ዲፓርትመንት ምንድን ነው የሚፈልገው? ፕሮዳክሽን ዲፓርትመንት ምንድን ነው የሚፈልገው? ኢንፎርሜሽን ዲፓርትመንት ምንድን ነው የሚፈልገው? ፋንክሽናል ሪኳርመንቱን አይደንቲፋይ ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል። ሰርድ ዊ ሃቭ ሲስተም ዲዛይን አክቲቪቲስ ዲቨሎፕ ስፔሲፊኬሽን ፎር ዘ ሃርድዌር ሶፍትዌር ፒፕል ኤንድ ዳታ ሪሶርስ ኤንድ ዘ ኢንፎርሜሽን ፕሮዳክትስ ዛት ዊል ሳቲስፋይ ዘ ፋንክሽናል ሪኳርመንትስ ኦፍ ዘ ፕሮፖዝድ ሲስተም። ሶ ሰርድ ስቴጅ ዊ ሃቭ ቱ ኮንዳክት ኤ ሲስተም ዲዛይን ኤንድ ዘ አክቲቪቲስ ዛት ዲቨሎፕ ስፔሲፊኬሽንስ ፎር ዘ ሃርድዌር ሃርድዌር ምን አይነት ሃርድዌር ያስፈልግ፣ ምን አይነት ሶፍትዌር፣ ምን አይነት ፒፕል ኦር ሰራተኞች ያስፈልጉናል፣ ምን አይነት ዳታ ሪሶርስ ያስፈልገናል፣ ኦር ኮሚኒኬሽን ሲስተም ምን አይነት ኢንፎርሜሽን ፕሮዳክትስ ያስፈልገናል የሚለውን አይደንቲፋይ ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል። ፕሮዳክት ሲስተም ስፔሲፊኬሽን ዘን ሲስተም ኢምፕሊሜንቴሽን አክቲቪቲስ አኳየር ኦር ዲቨሎፕ ሃርድዌር ኤንድ ሶፍትዌር ሂር ዊ ሃቭ ቱ አኳየር ኦር ዊ ሃቭ ቱ ፐርቼስ ኦር ዊ ሃቭ ቱ ዲቨሎፕ ሰች ሃርድዌርስ ኤንድ ሶፍትዌርስ ዘን ዊ ሃቭ ቱ ቴስት ዘ ሲስተም ኤንድ ትሬን ፒፕል ቱ ኦፕሬት ኤንድ ዩዝ ኢት ሲስተሙን ቴስት ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል። and we have to give training for people to operate it and we have to convert to the new system ወደ አዲሱ ሲስተም ምን ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል? ኮንቨርት ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል። how to put operational system የሚሰራ ሲስተም ይጠበቃል in the fourth stage. then system maintenance activities is a post implementation review process to monitor evaluate and modify the system as needed. ፖስት ኢምፕሊመንት ካደረግነው በኋላ ደግሞ ፕሮሰሲንግ ሲስተሙን ሞኒተር ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል፣ ኢቫሉዌት ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል፣ ሞዲፋይ ማድረግ ይጠበቅብናል። and the output result improved system or የተሻለ ሲስተም ማግኘት እንችላለን። so here we have 5 information system development life cycle or we can say that system development life cycle. so by this I think it is enough for today. if you have any comments or questions you can provide it through my Telegram account or you can communicate through my email address. Thank you for today and next time we will see the second chapter.